Welcome to Top Step Rules Order Flow channel. Today, I just want to talk about maybe a thing or two about delta comparison on how I like looking at delta comparison. Uh, first thing, first thing I want to talk about is a lot of times, not a lot of times, I hear quite a few. I go, I like to go on different channels just to see who's doing what, who's trading what, and so forth like that, and how they're doing it. But, sometimes I constantly hear people talk about, I don't want to do the research. I don't want to do the homework. Guess what, people? If you don't want to do the research and you don't want to do the homework, you're in the wrong business. If you're looking for somebody to do it for you, it's a whole lot of people out there that will be happy to take your money and lose it for you. You could do just as good as the next person. So, with that being said, sometimes there are going to be nights where you make a pot of coffee and you're sitting up and you're going through these charts bar by bar, seeing what happens if you go short, seeing what happens if you go long. What's the average run after I get a signal? How many ticks is it going on? How many points is it going after I catch a run long or catch a run short? And then you have, let's go into TDU footprint because that's what I'm using for indicator. I'm using TDU footprint and I'm using KISS order flow. I'll explain those two in a minute and why I got both of those on the same chart. TDU footprint is one of the best footprints out there, hands down. They see what everybody else is not using. And when you go into the Discord, and 9 times out of 10, when you say, hey, Trade Devil, can you put this in there or put that in there? I kind of want to see that. If he thinks that's viable, done deal. It's a done deal. You're going to see it in the next upgrade in the TDU footprint. Look at all of these signals Trade Devil has put in their footprint. That's a lot of signals. That's a lot of signals. And you don't have to use all of them. I don't use all of them, but there are some that stand out that I want to look at. Stacked imbalances. Bullish and bearish POC marker. Delta rise, delta drop, delta flip, delta trap, delta sweep, delta slingshot, fading momentum, stop in volume, thin print, zero print. Then all the way down here, you got the delta divergence. Then you can select your markers for each one that you want to see. And you can select your colors. And you can also do, some customization in case you want to see some things customized that you're currently not, or you currently can't see that you might want to see. You can put in your own formula. You guys mark this down right here because this is something that a lot of people talk about. Where's my ratio formula at? This is my ratio formula. Pause the video. The only time I want to see a ratio number is if it's above 30 or less than 0.69. Less than 0.69, or when you see a decimal, that's defense. Greater than 30, which is a whole number, that's exhaustion. That's Mike Valto's definition of a ratio. I don't need to see those other ratio numbers because I didn't and could not find any way to relate those other ratios to anything I'm using. You might find something. If you find something, let me know. But this is my ratio formula right here. So let's talk about ratios for a minute. When you see a ratio, 88.67, exhaustion. 45.57, exhaustion. You got 0.66, defense. 0.29, defense. So anything less than 0.69 is defense. And the easy way to think of that is when you see a decimal, defense, whole, exhaustion. That's how I look at that. Okay? So that was the ratio formula, because a lot of people I noticed on Discord and Trade Devil's room that was a issue at one time, and some people still inquire about that. That's the way I have my formula set. I only want to see it when ratio is exhausted above a certain amount, or when they're defending below a certain amount. Okay? That's the definition of ratio. Let's move on to comparison. Here's the reason why I am running KISS order flow on top of TDU, or with TDU on the chart. KISS order flow has, let's get to that. On their bar stats, I made everything transparent except their bar stats. KISS order flow has something where it says show delta on bar. Only show on higher volume. Watch what this does. I love it. So, these big numbers you see right here, those are the KISS order flows. That means the volume, if you look at the volume, on this 608, 27.4 was higher than the last bar, 18.2. Okay? So, when you're getting volume higher than the last bar, and you want to see the delta, those are the two I check off. Everything else is transparent on the KISS order flow. Footprint. Theirs is not even a footprint. It's just called KISS order flow. I bought it a couple years ago, so I figure this is how I'm getting the best usage out of that particular indicator when I was in search for order flow footprint stuff, and it was well worth it, and it would be well worth it knowing what I know now and how I use it. I did suggest this to Trade Devil. Nothing's been implemented yet. Come on, Trade Devil, implement that. So, notice at this pivot up here, you got higher volume than last volume, and the delta is minus 27.97. It flipped, the delta flipped from 1986, from a plus 1986 to a minus 27.97. To me, that's huge. To me, that's huge. That's telling me, get ready. Or, if you got the guts, take that sell right now, or right there, and put that stop somewhere above that bar. You're talking from plus 96, you went from 1,986 buyers to minus 27.97 sellers. For you guys who are trying to figure out what the delta is, that's the difference between the buyers and the sellers. Okay? That's the difference between the buyers and the sellers. When you got a swing top and you're looking at minus 27.97, get ready. Get ready. You got minus 27.97. The next bar, I call it a dead bar because you got an up bar with a negative delta. Minus 363. Then the next down bar is minus 798. It then goes to a 1074. Buyers couldn't quite get it because the next bar after that is a down bar, minus 494. Now, that's not as big. That minus 494 is not as big as that 2797. But you got a little follow through right here. You got a delta slingshot. You got a thin print. You got a delta trap. And you got a negative delta of minus 1346. That stop still goes above that pivot. If you decide to get in there, that stop still has to go above that pivot. Came pretty close when it pulled back here. Now, here's where the comparison comes in. You got a minus 494 here, but when it got back up to within a tick of that high, you got a minus 965. The volume wasn't as much, but notice the volume was damn near there. You're talking 21,000. And you got 965. That's a major flip. And I call that I make up little names. Me and a friend of mine who, we basically we're looking at charts live as they're happening on TeamViewer. And we call that, I call it an invisible flip because the volume isn't there. The volume isn't there. So it flipped from 865 to 965. But that 965 up there versus 494, you got an invisible comparison. Invisible flip, invisible comparison. Made up. What can I say? But anyway, it's there. It's telling you, get in. It's telling you to get in. And then you got to follow up with one of the Trade Devil markers, a delta trap with falling delta, minus 1481. You got minus 1481. The volume isn't quite there, only 7,669 volume. That's a go. That's a go. If you didn't go here, if you didn't go there, which the risk will be quite a bit because worst case scenario, you've been risking 62.75 up to say around 67. You've been risking about 5 points just waiting for this to fall off. But when this goes from minus 965, then you got minus 1481 delta trap, falling delta. That's a go. You got minus 1481. Then you got higher volume on the next bar. Minus 1982, thin print. You got minus 883. You got a ratio, 0.66 defense at that price. They're defending that price. You got another ratio, 0.69. Even from there down to there, that's a 10-point drop. And I'm looking at 15R or 15 range bars. That's how I use comparison. Now, let me tell you something else too. Just don't jump into comparisons. Myself, this day is on what? This is on the 12th of February. So I'm looking at the cash Dow, and I call that my trusty dusty indicator because that gives me an idea of which way this E-mini is going to go. And I also look at the Cume Delta, which is down here in the summary. The Cume Delta, a lot of times, which is like today, we'll lead up to the day in a minute, but this is on the 12th. A lot of times, the Cume Delta will be stagnant. The Cume Delta will go one way while the E-mini goes the other. And my rule, I like to look at it, it's got to be above or below 5,000 or more for me to only take trades in that direction. That's the kicker. Only take trades in the direction of whichever way that Cume Delta is going, considering that you have a threshold number. I even told a friend of mine, I said, man, I'm thinking about moving this thing up to, the Cume Delta. And this is your own threshold. I told him, I said, I'm thinking about moving it up to like 7,500 or 10,000. Minus 7,500 plus 7,500. Or greater or negative. If it's negative 7,500 or more or less, let's say less if it's on the negative side, then I'm only taking short trades. You're going to have a green day. If it's plus 7,500 or plus 5,000 or more, and you're only taking long trades, you're going to have a green day. But on days like this, when it's dancing, 4,500, 37.81, 48.55, 43.61, it's in between. Flip a coin. Well, don't flip a coin, but you know what I mean. Be very careful on the trades you take because it can go the other way. But I've noticed personally that the probability of the trade going your way and being on your side is when that Cume Delta is definitely above or below a particular number. Hands down. I've seen too many of them. I've seen enough of them. Hands down. I also look at inside days. If it's an inside day, less volatility, you might not have a good day. Outside day, you're going to have a good day. So I'm running the daily on another screen, and I immediately look at the daily and say, is this an inside day or outside day? Now, if it's a small inside day, I guarantee you, you're going to have problems. And I go across the internet all the time, and people are having rough days on inside days because that volatility is not there. That volatility is not there. I don't care how good your patterns are. If it's a low volatility day, you're not getting follow through like you want to see. Period. Go back on your days where you're having losing days and look at the daily for that date and see if that daily is an inside day or outside day. If you don't know what an inside day or outside day is, you don't need to be watching this video. You need to go back to order flow, or not order flow, but you need to go back to charting 101. But inside days and outside days, to me, this is my opinion, make all the difference in the world. I know I'm dropping gems on you guys. I know it. Okay. So that was one comparison right there that I would take into consideration. Okay? Now, look at this. Here's another invisible. You got 1916 here. And, what you can do is you can set alerts to when that delta gets to a certain amount. Set an alert to go off just to let you know, hey, this delta's above 1,000 or below 1,000. Or this delta's above or below 1,500, 2,000. Whatever you set that alert to, you will be alerted, at least so you can start really paying attention to these comparisons that's going on with these deltas. So you got minus 1916 here. You got minus 593 here with a thin print. And sometimes you're not going to get, the other signals are not going to follow through. The other signals are not going to pop, but there's something there in those numbers. Then you got minus 593, and following that, you got minus 1926. That's a go. That's a go. Also, you see this ask right here? And sorry, guys, you guys know who I'm talking about. I have to tell this. This ask right here. Where's my arrow? Where are my arrows? I think this is it right here. Nope. Bear with me for a moment, guys. Bear with me for a moment. Looking for something particular on this goddamn thing. Okay, I'll use the path. This ask right here at number at 4, right? You got 142. You got 142 buyers up here. And then you got 4. Notice the buyers are getting less and less. You got 7 here, you got 94 here, then it jumps to 142 here. Not quite trapped, but they are trapped up there. Those buyers are trapped up there, even though I didn't get a trap. I'll show you guys how I use trap traders in a minute. But you got 142 right here. And then the next time it gets up here, you only got 4. That's a go. Whether you go right here, if you're waiting for another confirmation, you go right here. But this right here, you're risking less. You're only risking 4. You're only risking 4.25 points to catch that whole run down there. That's a pretty big run, because these are 15 range bars. So even if you got in here at that price and you rolled it down, you're not going to quite get 15.75. I always say, if you can catch half of that run, you've done good. If you can catch 7 to 8 points of that run, you've done good. And that depends on your ATM strategy and how you're following. I'm tight. I'm tight. You guys have no idea. I'm tight. Once I got, if I'm trading 2 contracts or 2 lot, my first target is 8 to 10 ticks. My runner immediately locks in a tick or 2. I always say somebody's got to pay for gas. So I'm tight. But a lot of you guys who have the guts, milk that run. Milk that run for everything. And once it gets in, and set your strategy up so once it gets to a certain point, once it gets down to a certain one, once you get up a certain amount of ticks, you can tighten it up all you want. But milk that run. Okay? So that's a nice comparison right there. 593, 1926. You got 982, 1192. And another rule I use is, if it gets to the 3rd bar, I got doubt about getting in, because the average good run is 4 to 5 bars. And look how many bars we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the average run. 4 to 5 bars on a 15R. I don't know what it is on a 12. I don't know what it is on 8. Don't know what it is on a 10. I look at the average run. If I can catch 2 of these bars, I'm good. I'm good. You're having a nice day. Okay? So, another thing you want to pay attention to, you start getting ratios down here and you're at the 5th bar and you catch a flip, most likely you're going to get a pullback. Now, also notice the cum delta is minus 7,577 down here. So, no, I'm not looking to take a long trade. At this point, I'm only thinking short. I am only thinking short at this point. I don't care what that up run looks like. I am only thinking short. Okay? You got 738 here. You got minus 102 here. Yeah, I've seen better. I've seen better. Look at this bar right here. 3 o'clock, minus 352. I call it dead bar because you got negative delta on an up bar. You got a negative delta on an up bar. Then you got a minus 32.36 here on an up bar. If the sellers can't pull it off with 3,200 selling and the bar closes up, sit aside. Might want to sit aside and wait. Okay. Let's find some other real good comparisons here. And we're at the end of the day. Moving on to the next day. Moving on, 4 o'clock in the morning. Now you might see some good comparisons at 3, 4 in the morning. I don't get up and trade that early, but if you guys see some comparisons as far as the deltas is concerned, go back on your charts and see if you see something that catches your eye. 7 o'clock in the morning here, 7:20, you got plus 12.11, then you got plus 9.29. During regular hours, that's the kind of stuff that makes me go. That's a go. You got 40 sellers here, and then the next bar, you only got 4. Then you got 9. Then you got 6. It's rocking and rolling. And of course, report comes out. I don't trade during report time. You will get your butt handed to you. Get the market time enough to calm down. We're minus, notice the cum delta is minus 4,500, minus 3,600. We're still, and then when the numbers get back to 3 digits, that's when you don't want to trade when you're seeing a whole bunch of zeros in the bars. But when the numbers get back to this, the report time is over. It starts to get back to the norm again, or get back to normal. Nothing here, nothing here. Let's see if I see something that really catches my eye. I'm looking for something that, see if I see something that really catches my eye. Market hasn't opened yet. Okay, market is opening. Market is open. You got 2 dead bars, minus 327, minus 1050, but the bars are going up. Those are, I call these, anytime it's 1,000 or more, and it's an up bar, and it's minus 1,000 or more on the delta, or plus 1,000 or more on a down bar, I call those load shots. I have an alert set on those with the wave sound of Twilight Zone. Go figure. I know, but that just lets me know sellers couldn't pull it off. It's going up. You got minus 1050 and the bar closes up, it's going up. Then you got exhaustion right here, up bar, bars are going up. Okay. Pay attention to, now we're at 932, 935. Look at your cum delta. We're minus 10,000 now. It flips from plus 229 to minus 1786. Exhaustion up here. Notice the ratio has popped up. So you're getting a sell-off here. You're getting a good sell-off here. That's a good trade right there. I call that a flip. 229 to minus 1786. You should be in on the close of this bar right here. Definitely be considering it. Okay. Notice cum delta is minus 1,600 now, or 16,000. I'm not looking for long trades, but they're there. If you got the guts, pull them off. But I'm only looking for short trades right now. I'm telling you, that's how I do. My probability, I call these high probability trades. I trade with my bias. Just plain and simple as that. And yeah, you're going to miss some trades. God, I could have caught that trade. Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. If you don't know what you're doing when you put on a counter trade, you're going to lose your ass more times than not. Learn how to trade with your bias first. Then you can put on counter trades, because counter trades are a little bit more different than the regular trades. Just a tad bit more different. Delta is telling you to get in here. Look at the Delta rising up on higher volume. Okay. Me, I'll be looking for something on the short side. Cum Delta 7400. Okay, you got 410, you got plus, it goes from 712, it goes from 205 to 712. If I took that trade, probably would have got stopped out. But then, and stopped out right there at the top of this bar. But then, and you're not going to win all your trades. So, you got another Delta up here with a higher volume, plus 410. So here's your comparison though. Here is your comparison. Your comparison, 410 to minus 677. I love those trades. When it goes from green to red, and they're big numbers, and I consider this pretty big, even though I would like to see 1,000 or more, consider taking the trade. That's a nice comparison. A plus 410, and then it goes to minus 677. Just 3 ticks off of, you're talking 87. And then it goes, what, 3, maybe 4 more ticks, and you got a big negative delta. That's a short trade. That's a short trade. This is how I do comparisons. This is how I'm looking at, and there are no rules in order flow. There are no rules in order flow. If you see something, go back, check it out, and see if it's consistent. That's all. Everybody has a different way of trading order flow. Everybody sees something different or see these numbers in a different way when you're trading order flow. Order flow is just supplying you the information. What you do with the information is on you. It's on you. Here is a dead bar. You got 486, and then it goes to minus 506. You got a thin print, then you got a delta trap, thin print, fading delta. That's a go. That's a short. You can put a stop right there above this bar right here, right around 77, and take that ride down. That's a go. Then the next bar, you got minus 1651. That's a go. You took a little bit of heat here. You took a little bit of heat here. Even if you got in, say, right around 72 and a quarter, and that's hitting the market button, because I am strictly a market player. I go straight to the market. I don't put in no limit orders. I go straight to the market. A lot of guys, you probably like putting in limit orders. Me, I go straight to the market. Okay? So, because the average price, you usually get the open plus or minus 1 or 2 ticks. That's worst case scenario, not unless it's in real fast market. Then they're going to screw you to the wall. But you usually get a tick off the open. Maybe 2, worst case scenario. Don't quote me on that. That's on a not-held basis, but at the most, that's what you're going to get. 2 or 3 ticks off the open. This bar opened at 72.75. You probably get 72 and a quarter. Worst case 72. Worst case 72. You'd be lucky if you get 73 or 73 and a quarter. But making a move after you get a signal right here, and this is my delta trap marker with a signal, a sell signal right here. That's why that line is there for the downside. And you catch a run. You catch a run all the way down and get what you can. Get what you can, okay? Let's see what other comparisons we got here. Let's see what other comparisons do we have here, ladies and gentlemen. When I have a high delta on the third or fourth bar, I usually don't take it. I consider that a misrun. You can take it if you want. I don't care for them. That's just a run I won't catch, even though I wouldn't have caught this run because we're looking at a cum delta now, 25,000. But if it wasn't 27,000, and you got 352 here, then you got 2591 there. That's a tough call because you already got 4 bars on that run already. And I know the delta says 2591, but I got a saying, another bus will be along. You got a pullback here. You went from 1148, then you went to 1995. If you had time, that's a trade. I notice I said if you had time because we're already at 10 minutes to 4. We got 10 minutes or less before the market closes. 10 minutes or less. A lot of times you'll see action right at the close of the bar. But nonetheless, that's a good trade. You went from minus 1148. This is the middle of the day or in the morning time. You got minus 1148. Then that bad boy switches to 1995, and a delta trap, a delta slingshot, and a thin print. You got a trade. And actually, you could probably pull that trade off at 5 minutes before and do an MOC, market on close. I don't do that. But you could probably pull that off and end up with that particular trade. You would have ended up with quite a few points. Okay? Okay, let's continue on. Had to take a coffee break. Here's a slight comparison here. I'm really not crazy about when it goes from green to green like this. It's strong, but you know, when you got increasing delta from 375, 821, I call this invisible bar because the volume is not there, but delta is 1073. That's a possibility. But of course, this is 2 o'clock in the morning or 12 midnight. So, like I said, you guys can go over your own charts and see what you see there. Let's jump on up to 9:30, market open. Now here's something where you might be able to catch a run. Let's see what we're working with here. Delta 72.67. It's a good short trade, but I'm at 7,200. To be honest with you, I'm not looking to take any short trades. I know. You can take counter trades, but I'm still trying to master what you're seeing here. Master one thing at a time. Counter trades, different beasts. Even though the numbers are there, sometimes that delta might not move like you want. But to expand further on that, do some research. Go back on your charts and see what happens when you take counter trades. See what your threshold is. But right now, it's 932. We're looking at a cum delta of 8,700. I'm not looking for any short trades. I'm looking for long trades only. Okay, here we go. Minus 271, plus 79, plus 1758. My goal would be at the close of this bar right here, plus 79. It's already showing the sellers can't hold it down at minus 271. Alert, the bell should be going off in your head. Then it goes to plus 79. That's a real nice transition right there. Even if you wait for that next bar, you're going to catch at least 1 or 2 bars on that. You're going to get at least a 3-point run on that. Even if you get the open of this bar right here, and let's measure that just to see how big that run is. Yeah, that's a 5. That's a little over 5-point run for one contract. That's a nice transition right there, minus 270. When it goes from red to green, your alarms should be going off. Your alarms should be going off. All right, let's see what else we got here. And we're just going through comparisons. I'm just showing you what catches my attention when I'm looking to pull a trade. This will be a counter trade right there. Even though yes, that's a pretty big run. Not quite ready for those trades yet. Not quite ready. 11 o'clock. You got plus 525. Then that delta jumps to 5201. You got a delta trap. You got a delta slingshot. DSS stands for delta slingshot. You could actually go into TDU and change the symbol to whatever you want, whether you want it to be delta trap. I got delta slingshot, so I got DSS, POC stop, or you can just leave the symbol. You can change these to anything you want. So as you can see, I got thin print, delta slingshot, delta trap. That's a go. That's a long trade. And you're talking, let's say worst case scenario, 86 3/4 up to 89 3/4. That's a 3-point move. I've already hit my 8-10 tick first target. I'm in a free trade now. And if you actually pay the pivots, you would have not gotten hit. You would have rode that up to quite a bit more, even though you would have took some heat coming back. I don't like that kind of heat coming back. I can't take the pressure, guys. I think I'm getting too old. Let's see what else we got here. Wouldn't have taken this trade, but you got a nice flip. You go from plus 2305, big load shot, to minus 1246. But notice the cum delta is plus 1200. I would have not taken this, and this really probably wouldn't have paid off. Well, of course, hindsight, you can see it paid off, but you would have taken a little pullback on that. You would have taken some heat on that, and your stop would have had to been right up there above that pivot. That's if you play pivots. That's if you play pivots. Okay. Perfect example of an invisible flip. We're plus 6,400 on the cum delta. I'm only taking long trades today. Cum delta's over 5,000, right? Plus 60. We're minus 3270 on this bar right here. Minus 3270, and then I call this invisible flip. We went from minus 3270 to plus 856. Also, look at your sellers. You got 62 right here, and then it goes down to 11. 32, 71. Sellers have given up the ghost. Sellers have given up the ghost. Also, this is a signal that Mike Valtos talks about. You got stacked imbalances. Bar turns around and goes up. Mike Valtos talks about this in one of his videos. That's it. And the bar turns around and goes up. And I got 1, 2, 3 stacked imbalances. And you know, the significant to me, this is they're at the bottom of this bar. They're not at the top, they're at the bottom. So sellers have given up. If you can't push that bar down some more with minus 32.70 and then it flips to 856, that's a go. That's a long trade from this bar right here. And the risk, you're only risking this bar or whatever bar you see it on. That's a long trade. You're not getting nothing else, but you got minus 32.70 to plus 856. Real nice comparison. Real nice comparison. And, you know, I tried running, Trade Devil did give me a formula somewhere on Discord. If you go back on the Discord, you'll see it. I wasn't quite impressed with it. You know, it was just, it just made my chart look too busy because it was showing all of the numbers, and I don't know if he really understood what I was talking about, but the formula he gave me didn't quite work, so I just said, no, I'll just continue to run KISS order flow. Delta, only show me Delta on higher volume. The Delta is not being compared, only the volume is being compared to the last bar. By the way, if any of you guys figure that out inside of TDU customization, please drop me a note. Drop me an email, drop me a note. I would love to see it. Okay? So that's a long trade right there, and that's at 12 noon. You got a dead bar right here with a minus 943. You got a lower low with a plus 565. That's a go. In my eye, in my mind, that's a go. You got 15 sellers right here. You got 24 right there. Then on this up bar, you got 46, 18. Notice the sellers are getting less and less. Okay. That's a go. This whole 3-bar combination right here. And actually, I'll tell you guys something. Pull your coat to something else. You got a up bar here. You got a pullback with a higher high, and then lower low right here. It's almost a 2B. If you guys are not familiar with a 2B, that's a 2B. That's a 2B with deltas confirming. If you guys don't know what a 2B is, it's Trader Vic's 2B pattern. Not just a regular 2-bar pattern reversal, but Trader Vic's 2-bar pattern. Okay? All right, let's see here. It's 1:36 in the morning, or not in the morning, in the evening. Not taking those short trades. The cum delta is too high for me to take short trades. You're doing good on long trades. You can risk it on a short trade, but I stick to my rules. I'm only looking for long trades at this point. All right, here we go again. Another invisible flip. Invisible flip, acceleration trade, as me and a friend of mine say. And for this particular wave, I have an alert set for it. For this particular wave, I use the Jetsons car. Jetsons flying car. You hear some car. That's what I'm getting here. So you go from minus 331 to plus 1744, and you got fading delta. You don't have to wait for anything else. You got minus 331, and then it goes to a big plus like that. You don't have to wait for anything else. See what that is. Right. So that's, and you got stacked imbalances. You see the zone right there. So you go from stacked imbalances, you got 1744, 2124. That's a go. If you're not in the next 2 bars, like I said, if I see a run and I came in on the 3rd or 4th bar, I won't take the trade. I just kick yourself for missing the trade, or you can get in, take a chance to get in. But a lot of times, you're going to take heat on that trade because your stop has to be down here at this pivot. But just looking at this 2 bar flip right here from minus 331 to 1744. Minus 331 is on higher volume, minus 402, and notice it's lightening up. Minus 402, minus 331, boom, plus 1744. It's a go, gentlemen. It's a go. And then you got a min delta 1. Bang, bang. It's a go. Okay? Let's see what else we got here. You got pullback action here. So you got a low here. And then it goes from minus 2 to 1148. You can get in up here, but your stop is going to be right here below this little small pivot right here. You would have never gotten hit. You would have caught that run. You got a minus 615 here, and you got a plus 77 here. Or 977, not a plus 77, but a 977. And you got a ratio. Defense. Defending. They're defending. They're defending this price right here in this area. So that's a go. That's a long trade. That's a long trade. I'm ignoring the short trades. Why? Because you're at plus 31,000 now. You should not be looking for longs. You should only be looking for shorts. And it's 3:30 in the evening. Right here, you go from 1349, visible flip, to 655. Then you got 779. You got a delta trap. You got fading delta. And you got stopping volume. That's that blue. That's what the star is, and that's what that is right there. You got stopping volume on a POC. That's a go. That's a go. That would have been the last trade of the day. Let's come up to the day. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what happened today, which is February 15th. Started at 9 o'clock. I wasn't here today. I had to make some runs. Let's go back to 9 o'clock from what I understand. This was I was talking to a friend of mine, and I told him, I said, man, I don't know if I would have taken that trade, but notice the cum delta is dancing on the 0 line. You could take a long trade or a short trade depending on how you feel when that cum delta is not hitting your threshold numbers. Like I said, my threshold is 5,000 or minus 5,000, but I'm thinking about moving it to 7,500 or minus 7,500. But right now, just for the sake of this video, let's say 5,000. And today was one of those days. And believe it or not, even though it's talking on the negative side, from what I understand, after I talked to a friend of mine, he said he was only taking long trades. I said, I can see that. Flip a coin. Well, don't flip a coin, but you know what I mean. At 9:31, you got a long trade. You go from 21.85, then I would have looked at 9:30. You got plus 66, you got then plus 507, plus 1254. Try to take out a couple points in the scalp. Here, you got a low here. The delta's minus 358. Then it goes from 358 to plus 94. You got a ratio right here of 130.67. That's exhaustion right there. Could have scalped a little bit out of there. Not bad, not bad. This is a day. Also, he said he took some short trades. This is a day where you could possibly take some short trades and make money because your cum delta isn't telling you a thing. Basically, you could go whichever way you think the market will go. That's hard. It's a hard day to trade. Some people can trade it. Some people can't. I have traded it. I haven't really kept count, but I think I've had like 50-50 success on it. I would rather see a strong cum delta. Give me plus or minus 5,000. Then that way I know which way I'm going. Let's pick out some more. Comparisons for you. We're just looking at comparisons today, just so you get an idea of what I'm looking at. Right here, you got minus 878, then you got plus 753. You got a cum delta of minus 3458. I don't know if I would have taken that trade, but, to each his own. You got a weak cum, whichever way you feel the market is going to go, because there is no rules set in stone that you have to do this and you have to do that. This is order flow. This is only information. It's not telling you to go long or short. It's only supplying you the information. That's it. Order flow, you have to study these numbers. You have to sit up here. You have to look at these bars, and you have to notice little patterns in those numbers that gives you an edge. That's all you're looking for. That's all you're looking for. Notice here, we go from 3070, a plus 3070 to minus 613. That's a short trade. Cum delta's on your side too, minus 909. That's a short trade. That's a flip. That's an invisible flip. Okay? And just because the cum delta is dancing between your threshold, still leave your alerts set, because you don't know the mindset you're going to be in when those alerts go off. You might feel like taking a long. You might feel like taking a short. Like I said, I don't even know if I'm 50-50 on days like this. When it's days like this, I don't pull it. A lot of times I will not pull a trade. I will not pull a trade. I will sit there and watch it. And luckily I wasn't home today, because I'd have been bored. There's a guy online. He's not online anymore. And he always talked about when he doesn't have a signal or when he doesn't have nothing to do, he throws a DVD in the movie in his computer and watches a movie until his signal goes off. That's hard discipline. I'm trying to get there. That's hard discipline. But don't get into that movie so much that it'll take your mind off of what you're supposed to be doing. But he might do it because he doesn't want to pull a trade. He wants to wait for his high probability setup to come to him before he pulls a trade. Okay? Here's another hard flip. It's a hard trade. You're only minus 1,600 and you got a delta slingshot, you got a thin print, you got a delta trap, you got POC, you got stacked, and here we go again. Mike Valto's signal. You got stacked with a down bar, but the bar closes up and goes to the other side. Mike Valtos has a video on that. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. And I do call him the godfather of order flow. If you want to learn order flow, you got to watch Mike Valto's videos. You have to. There's nobody on YouTube, in my opinion, right now, more educated than Mike Valtos on order flow. Okay? Let's move on. Another flip. And this is a flip with volume right here. You got if you're only looking to take short trades, minus 648 to plus 487. And then you got a delta trap that follows right after that. Beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. Falling or rising delta. By the time this delta trap and thin print comes in, and then it just goes on up. You got two dead bars here. Here's a difficult trade. You got two dead bars here. It's 2 o'clock in the evening. You got minus 1378, and then it flips to 935. Okay. You want to take a trade? Take a trade. But that stop is going to have to go down here, and you damn near got stopped out. Did you get you made money if you hung through this heat right here. If you made it through this heat right here and your stop was down here at this bar right here, getting in up here because you didn't get to flip to the third bar. So you say from 43 to 34. Ooh, that's a big stop. Ooh, that's a big stop. I wouldn't have taken it because the stop was too big. But yes, that is a flip. And this is my problem when you start taking flips on the third and fourth bar. The stop is going to be too big. If you can hang, go ahead and make the trade. If you can hang, go ahead and make the trade. But and it also depends on what time frame you're looking at. And like I say, I'm looking at a 15 range. So this is what I trade on. That stop was too big for me. Okay. Let's move on, gentlemen. 3 o'clock. Got minus 1184, minus 849. You got 89. You got 247 on the ask, and then it goes to 89, and then it comes back down to 15. Yeah, you could have taken that trade if you wanted to, and that's at 3 o'clock in the evening or 3:05. You would have taken a little heat on that, and then you would have got down to 38, 50, 38, and that's taking a trade at 41. Worst case, let's say worst case scenario, 41 and a half, and it made a low of 38. Would you have made money? Yeah, you probably would have skirted by on that. You probably would have skirted by on that. I myself, let me tell you something else that I really pay attention to. When the market opens at 9:30, and I might trade up to 12 noon. After 12 noon, I am very skeptical about taking trades because a lot of times I am up and I am ahead by 12 noon. If I'm trading after 12 noon, either I'm having a good day or I'm trying to get back to break even. And that's the end of the day. It's 5:33 in the evening, February 15th. Thank you for watching my videos. And that's how I compare deltas and volume. If there's anything I miss, mention it in the comments down below, or the comments down below, and I'll try to get to it next video. I don't know when I'm gonna put out another video, but this is the business of trading. This is the business of trading. Do your more to the whole story. Do your homework. Do your research. People don't want to do research. People don't want to do their homework. And you know what? I've been doing this, and I'm not rich. Nowhere near it. I do it because I love it. I'm break even at best. And I've been doing this for a long time. Something else I want to mention, if I didn't mention it already. Demo accounts with the version NinjaTrader 8.28. You can do as many demo accounts as you want. You can create as many demo accounts you want. And you can see I got different accounts here. I think I said this at the beginning of the video, and because it bothers me when I see people paying for demo accounts. Don't take it personal, guys. I'm not paying for demo accounts. I'll just create a demo account in NinjaTrader. And you can install version 28 and then install the newest version. So you can create, but I'm not paying you. I'm not going to pay nobody $30, $40, $50 to open up a demo account just so I could possibly get a funded account. It's not happening. I traded in Chicago, and it was three of us in the office. Three of us. Two of us sat there and watched those screens day in and day out. Me and another guy. The other guy and the boss, I call her boss lady, they were bringing in the money or directing customers from the trade desk up into our division. We had 10 million under management. I don't want to manage nobody's money. It's a headache. Trust me when I tell you, it's a headache. You get cussed out. 1 minute you're their friend. The next minute they're calling you saying, why didn't you catch this trade, or why didn't you catch that trade? Because they might be looking at a signal on their computer, and we were trading systems for people. And you might get a different signal on your computer, and guess what? They would blame us for missing the trade, and we might not have the trade, or we might have missed the trade. It was to the point, let me tell you guys something. It was to the point we were trading, I would say 10 to 15 systems at one time. 10 to 15. So that's how I came into the business. I can trade 10 to 15 systems. I can look at them. I've seen them all. I'm not impressed with no day trading systems at all. Your best system is the one you make. That's what I'm going to tell you. Your best system is the one you develop that you feel comfortable with. You guys hear me? You get me? I'm not going to pay nobody $30, $40 to create a demo account so I can get funded by a company, and then the stops, the trailing stops, and the stops, you have to be within their rules as far as the stops and the trailing stops, which almost makes it incredible to do. It's incredible. It's crazy. And like I said, 1 minute you're the customer's friend, next minute they're cussing you out. But when you're trading funded accounts, if you fall below a certain amount, you don't get that money. You don't get paid. Trade your own money. You ain't got to worry about that stuff. Trade your own money. People who have never traded their own money and you want to trade somebody else's money, those are the last people I'll give my money to, because they don't know how it feels to trade. They're quick to pull the trigger with your money before they pull the trigger with their own money. And very few people are making. There are some people out here making money with those funded accounts. They're few and far in between. I'm out of here. This is Top Step Rules Order Flow. Have a great day. Peace out.